Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Daily Triple, your no shit gaming news video. That's 3 news stories in one video with zero faff. Unfortunately, I can't seem to go more than a couple of days without having The Last of Us Part 2 showing up in the news. After a positive story on Wednesday, we've got something much more controversial again.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Sony launched a new CG trailer for the game, which featured some dramatic action as Ellie evades infected and human enemies, backed up by some somber singing over an acoustic guitar. The song, which voice actor Ashley Johnson is singing, is a cover of True Faith by New Order. The original version of the song is classic 80s pop, whereas this version is much darker and depressing, matching the tone of the game. As a result, Naughty Dog has been accused of plagiarizing the song, not by New Order, but instead by Seattle musician Lottie Ketzner, who released a similar cover version back in 2011. She took to Twitter to express her issues with Naughty Dog and Sony, but the tweet has since been deleted. However, YouTuber ZDI managed to capture it for his coverage of the story, so credit to him for these screenshots. She said, at Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog, "Hey, are you aware that the True Faith cover you put in your commercial that is a replica of my cover that came out 10 years ago? I wrote original parts not in the original song that are copied exactly by whoever copied it. I am heartbroken." In a subsequent tweet that was also deleted, she said, "Your fans seem to have noticed because they're commenting on my old video thinking it's the same song. Credit? Compensation? At 3 minutes 30 in my song in particular is the vocal part that I wrote that is featured in your trailer exactly." Now, there is no denying the clear similarities between these performances, which I will try to play for you now so long as I don't get demonetized.
I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me.
I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me. I feel so extraordinary. Something's got a hold on me.
And now for that particular vocal part.
Coincidence? I think not!
The rights holders to the song will be the original artist, New Order, or the label behind them, meaning that it will definitely have a royalty agreement about use of the track, but it's unclear if Ketzner will actually be able to receive anything. While both songs do sound very similar, they are simple in their arrangement since both feature raspy female voices over a soft acoustic guitar and very little else. There aren't really that many ways to distinguish songs in that style. However, Ketzner's version is very different from New Order's 1987 original, and Sony's version is much closer to Ketzner's cover than the original. It seems unlikely that Sony would just happen to produce the exact same melodies and arrangements as Ketzner, since it already differs from the original version. If it can be proven that Sony did plagiarize from Ketzner, she should clearly be credited and awarded compensation for the use of her work. Since she has already deleted her tweets on the matter, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony quietly conceded to all this to avoid any more bad press about the game, and since it is an enormous corporation, it can easily afford to just pay her off. It's unlikely that Naughty Dog as a studio had anything to do with it, because this is purely a marketing trailer, so everything would be down to Sony. One thing I don't understand is why Sony didn't just use a song they already own the rights to, since a massive branch of Sony's business is in music. Sony owns a bunch of different music labels, so surely it would be much easier to license music for the trailer, since they will have at least some control over the songs and how they're used. Or do you think, did Sony steal from a small independent musician, or is this just a big misunderstanding? It seems pretty clear to me where a certain inspiration may have come from. And next up, Bobby Kotick has been the CEO of Activision since 1990, and it can be said that he is one of the most successful businessmen in the industry. It can also be said that he is a greedy vulture who will screw over everyone to get his next dollar. We criticize these corporations all the time for solely appealing to their shareholders' whims and the game suffering because of it, but now it looks like Kotick has pissed them off too, and it's not for the first time. According to a filing to the US Securities and Exchange Commission, Activision Blizzard shareholders are not happy with the company's CEO. There will be a vote on the 11th of June at Activision known as a say-on-pay vote, which gives shareholders a right to decide how the company executives are paid. Dieter Weitzenegger, executive director of CTW Investment Group, is urging shareholders to vote against Activision's say-on-pay proposal, which would pay him based on his performance in prior years, not this year's actual performance. Weitzenegger said, despite repeated low approval votes from shareholders, Activision Blizzard maintains multiple overlapping opportunities for its CEO to outsize equity awards, even when performance-related vesting thresholds have not been met. TLDR, the shareholders don't want Kotick to get paid the same as he has for previous years because he hasn't actually done the work for it or met performance requirements requirements. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually agree with the shareholders.
Heresy!
If you don't do your job properly, why should you get paid more? Under the subheading, Activision Blizzard finds multiple ways to unnecessarily enrich its CEO, the filing also points out that Robert Kotick has received over $20 million in combined stock/option equity per year. These equity grants have consistently been larger than the total pay of CEO peers at similar companies. So Kotick is doing less than others and getting paid even more for it. You've got to hand it to the guy. It's impressive to see someone consistently screw over everyone and still get away with it.
I admire its purity, a survivor unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality.
Waitzenegger's filing also throws shade at the company for laying off 800 staff members back in 2019 and highlights that employees left at the company earn 1/3 of 1% of Kotick's annual earnings. Not 1% of his earnings, 1/3 of 1%. So just to be clear, your average employee at Activision earns 0.33% of Bobby Kotick's annual earnings. Anyone who labours under the idea that you can become a billionaire with hard work is kidding themselves. This is utterly disgraceful. This section of the filing ends with this line, which I think is surprisingly eloquent for these business times. An equity award scheme that allows multiple bites at the apple for past unearned equity, as well as acceleration of equity that hasn't yet vested, is antithetical to pay for performance. Kotick has also ruffled the feathers of his company's shareholders in the past. In November 2019, he made a personal profit of $180.8 million during a buyback of Activision shares, which was very controversial at the time. We did a video on that a few months ago, so be sure to check that out if you want to know more. So, should Kotick be paid more based on his past merits, or is this just complete blind greed? I have a sneaky feeling that most of you are going to think the latter, and I just can't fathom why. I can't figure it out. And finally, Sony made waves a few months ago when it was confirmed that Horizon Zero Dawn was coming to PC, and now another popular exclusive may also be making the jump. That game is one that has been rumoured for a while now, and is from Software's Bloodborne. This is still all unconfirmed, but the latest rumour comes from Twitter user Casey Explosion, though as always, grab that big old pinch of salt. Their comments began with a classic bait and switch of promising details of a Steam leak, then sharing a bunch of links to charities supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. After hoodwinking her followers, she then assured people that she had, quote, a very trusted source.
Trust me.
Okay.
Later she tweeted saying that a Bloodborne remaster/HD version was meant to be revealed at the Sony PS5 showcase, which was recently postponed. I have no love for Bloodborne personally, but I know it's one of Sony's most enviable exclusives that has many PC players salivating. Are you desperate to return to Yharnam on PC with a decent frame rate and improved visuals, or would you rather run a marathon with Lego in your shoes than suffer the pain of a FromSoft game? And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this no shit format, go ahead and give the video a like to give it a boost, hit subscribe and the bell if you want to stay up to date on all future installments. Toss a coin to your YouTuber over at patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. That's all for today. I've been Henry Cooper. Bye for now.